we need to get started. I know that it is now just a few minutes after 3 o'clock. I think other people will get joining as we go along in the process. But allow me to sincerely welcome everybody to this afternoon session. My name is Anthony Egeru. I work at the Roof Forum Secretariat as the manager in charge training and community development. I am currently leading the flagship program on transforming Africa's universities, and and really then that brings me to the core of part of operations around the issues on how do we improve learning within universities. This problem-based learning program and learning processes is based on our partnership with HAMK in Finland, rising from the problem-based, the PBL BioAfrica project, but also as part of our long-term operations and quest to ensure that we can improve on our teaching and learning processes within our universities. Roof Forum as a network of universities, this is where we bring our voices together and try to work together for a common goal and for ensuring that our universities are really responsive. I would like to invite Dr. Florence Nakayua, the Deputy Executive Secretary of Roof Forum, in charge planning, resource mobilization, and management, to do the opening remarks for this meeting today. Over to you, Dr. Florence.
Okay, the host has stopped the video. I thought it would have been good for people to see me, but it is still okay. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, you're all most welcome to this training from the Roof Forum Secretariat. Roof Forum, I'm sure since you are on this call today, is a network of 129 universities in 38 countries in Africa. I see Dr. Aya is online, and Miss Ula, who are going to be our trainers. Very good, very happy to see you, our trainers today. Thank you very much for coming to grace this training, which is very pertinent, as Anthony was speaking, that we are a network of universities. Yes, we are a network of universities, but we also want to be up there. We want to make the universities vibrant so that they can be able to transform first themselves, but also agricultural communities. So PBL, which has been around for quite some time, but it hasn't been effectively active as it ought to be. So we thank you under this partnership with Hank University and other universities on the continent in Kenya and in Zambia. We are very happy that we are going to have this training interspersed with practice, because we know that the colleagues from Zambia and the colleagues from Kenya, Seku University, will be able to give us their insights on how it works. But I'm sure even other universities in the continent have their own versions of how PBL works in their communities. So I want to thank you very much. This training, or this engagement, I don't want to call it a training, this engagement is part of the triennial conference that we have as Roof Forum that is going to be hosted by Benin. I know these are pre-conference events, but you are welcome to join all these events, including this one, which we are having today. We know that there will be a session with principals and deans still to talk a little bit more about PBL, problem-based learning, when we are in Benin. But this is giving a treatise. This is really starting the process, the discussion, the engagement the dialogue. I know we still have a way to go, but any journey has to begin with one step. And I know that this is one of those steps. Maybe it is the 10th step, but it is a step in the right direction. Thank you, Prof. Aja, for agreeing to be part of this engagement. And we do thank you for sparing some time to come and be with our colleagues from the universities and colleagues from the universities. Thank you very much as well for coming and sparing your time. I know it will be time well spent because we have very brilliant, very seasoned facilitators to take us through this process. I also want to thank Anton for the organization and the coordination. It's brilliant. Thank you very much. I wish you all very good training, even as we wait for other colleagues to come online. Thank you very much. And our IT team for putting up this training, supporting the technical aspects of it. I thank you very much. Anton, over to you, or to Prof. Aja.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Would someone enable the video, please, for me? Yes, there you are. Thank you. So many greetings to all of you from Nairobi. I've actually landed last night, midnight, to Nairobi. So maybe it's one of the first signals that life is going towards normal. Thank you, Dr. Florence, for your kind words, the kind introduction to this session, and thank you all together for the partnership with HAMC for Forum. We are very privileged and we feel very humbled to be your partners in this really valuable exercise of working together for the quality of education. So long the talk was access to education. Now it's more access to quality education, which somehow reflects very much the tradition from where we are coming from. We are coming from a country that after the Second World War in Europe, 1940s, was one of the poorest countries in the world. And if you now ask that why we are honestly one of the richest in the world, how can we be without any natural resources? Because we don't have any, we have all those trees that are no natural resource for you because they take from 70 to 90 years to mature before we can fell them. So even your indigenous trees, half or 1/3 of that time makes them mature. So you don't see the value of trees, but those trees we have turned into money in 3-generation exercises, but through the quality of education. That's what our country is famous for. Quality of education, not only access to education. And we feel with Ulamaya very humbled to be here together with you to share our experiences, what PBL takes. We first was to mention that what we are going to talk about is problem-based learning, but problem-based learning as an orthodox methodology is very strict and not maybe the one what we are and what Forum is talking about. We are talking about a blended methodology where everyone is allowed to take the raisins from the bun. So under the umbrella of problem-based learning, project-based learning, whatever you call it, take the best parts that fits into your organization and go contextualizing them for you. This is what we have done in HAMC, and this is the experience. HAMC is the Hammer University of Applied Sciences, and this is the experience what we are going to share with you. So I am working in HAMC as a principal research scientist. That means that I'm leading the team that coordinates the collaboration with African countries. And this PBL BioAfrica, problem-based BioAfrica project is one of the projects that we are running with our partners in Africa. We have several European Union funded capacity building projects and projects with companies a different kind of a variety of things that we want to develop our partnerships for mutual learning. So this is the introduction of myself, and Ulla, if you want to introduce yourself shortly, and then we get started, please.
Yeah, let's hope you can see me. Hi, my name is Ulla, and I come also from HAMK, University of Applied Sciences, where I have worked as a senior lecturer now 20 years something, and we have been very active in using different kind of active methods where the students are center. So we have first used a lot of different kind of projects, then we have had problem-based learning and that kind of different approaches. So I will present you now all the experiences. We will go through how it's been implemented to the university and what does it really mean to teacher and student and to management to really go in this kind of activities where the students are more active and actively involved in the process of learning. So that's our theme today, what we are discussing, and we try to tell you the kind of very concrete examples. So yeah, so Anthony asks
yes, we are starting with the mentees to ask a bit of your experiences and asking who are you. So Ulla-Maja, you might open the first the mentees. We have now over 60 and maybe there are more people coming. This is really great that so many people are in there, but let's first find out a little bit, who are you, who is with us, and what kind of experience you are having on PBL. So Ulla-Maja, please.
Can you share the screen, the presentation, because I cannot use the mentee at the same time, so.
Oh, so, but it's the first the mentee, is it? Is it on the presentation or?
Yes.
First the mentee, please, it's you.
It's in the presentation. It's the
okay,
first.
So I have to find the presentation, sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's just always different, so it should be there. I will write to the chat the instructions.
Yeah, and you can use the chat box while I'm maneuvering this.
Yes. So what we want you to do now is to take your mobile phone and use the internet browser of your mobile phone and go to this. I will write it to the chat. It's this. It goes to the. It doesn't go there. Wait. I will write it again. Yes, so use your phone and go to the mentee.com, and there we have a first question for you. I will give you the code, how you get into the, I just have to get it first. I can copy the link straight also here. I just don't know if you can you click the link? If you are through phone, you can click the link. And I will say share the numbers, just I have to write it here. So
okay, I assume you can see my screen now, right?
Yes, very well.
Now we are there.
Yeah, I will again write here mentee.com, and the numbers you need you can see on the screen, and I will also write them here. Yeah, and now there's also the chat short.
I guess everyone is basically, most of you are familiar with Mentee. It has become very popular, but go to your mobile phones and then use the code. And then you have the, when you have entered the code, a small box opens where you can write a small sentence that, why did you want to join this session?
Yeah, it's really short. You can only have short comments because we will have this cloud coming. So it's not just a few words, 1 word, 2 words, and then we will get the answers there.
Yeah, Ulla, just probably for colleagues that might be their first time to use Mentimeter, just click on the link that Ulla has shared on the chat.
Okay.
Then you will, a dialog box with, I think, depending on how Ulla has set it up, is probably 3 words, 3 different words that you will put each. It's better if you just write 1 word per box, dialogue box that comes. So let's assume, for example, the question is, why are you interested in joining today's session on problem-based learning? You take, for example, the response, for example, learning, getting something new. Those are 2 words, or maybe you might be having a response like new mode of more advancing interest in learning. Those are several words, but you have to pick 1 word or 2 words so that the cloud begins to cluster them together, and we begin to see where there is a common point of convergence.
Thanks, Anthony.
It's best to use the mobile phone. So go first from your browser of the phone, www.mentee.com. And when you are in there, it asks you code. And then put this 14092251. And then you have the question on the screen.
Yeah, there's 3 empty boxes. You can put 3 different words. For example, if you are curious, you write I'm curious, like just curiosity there. And you can actually sub multiple times. So if you send first 3, then you can send 1 more or whatever you want. So it's you can multiple supplies like that multiple times. So, and don't close your mobile browser or the Mentee after this. We will have more of this kind of activate and questions for you later.
Well, are you seeing, is anyone managed to do
there's
it?
a lot of answers. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we don't have to be worried. You got it immediately how it's working. Mentee is a very handy tool in open distance learning. We bought the license. I can't remember how much it was, but few $100 a year. But it has appeared to be a very handy tool, because in open distance learning, it's a question how to activate the students. So this kind of commercial talk for Mentee, there are similar things. We just ended up taking Mentee, which somehow has served well us in many fronts.
Yeah, I can show you if you want to see the, why are we here? So
you want me to stop sharing?
I can just walk over.
Okay,
yeah.
Please do that I don't have to maneuver back and forth.
I think I can share my screen here. Now, I hope you see it now. Yeah, so you see now here that as you were writing the words, which is here mentioned the most, is the biggest word. You see now when the words come, I don't know who is writing or anything like that. I just see the results. So this is sort of an anonymous. So we use this a lot with the students when we ask them, and you will actually see some results. We have used this also for the problem-based learning and supporting the students. So you will also see that. And now you have built this is why we are here today. Yeah.
Okay, good. I think we got a nice, learning is of course, but there are this networking. So we have, do we have at least 2 group works that where we hope you to talk? So that's the networking part. Otherwise, it's also that the chat box is giving a lot of good contacts. So when you see someone giving a contribution you are interested in, try to collect the contacts and utilize them later. Because unfortunately, the agenda is quite packed, and we want somehow the talks, the 2 group work sessions, and then this kind of tools where everyone can express their views without talking. But yes, someone was daring to ask to familiarize. There are definitely people. I guess the next Mentee is that how experienced are you on PBL, Ulla? So shall we do that now next?
There was it's the 4th slide there. I can change it, but there was our presentations first, but then there was this.
Okay, yes, okay, yes. So, but did you walk me to I have to share again.
Yeah, you have to share it again.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see that I'm not the most handy one with ICT, but I can make it when I'm well guided. So let us go now. Yeah. So as Ulla-Maja said, that the get the engine running. Very often we feel that when talking about problem-based learning, it's the focus is so much on we call them teachers. We know that you are not teachers, you are lecturers, you are professors, but in our language, or we are used to telling ourselves teachers. So forgive us making that mistake constantly, but in PBL, we should talk about mentors. So much the talk is about the one who is guiding the exercise, but in reality, that's not even close to enough. The lecturer can do his or her best up to certain things if the whole system is supporting. And this is what this session is about, that we want to show you that who are the partners and who actually is responsible on making this possible. So you heard about us, Ulla-Maja and me. There we are. You are allowed to interrupt, ask, raise your hand if you feel that there's something where you want to stop. The challenge with people like us, teaching in PBL or whatever method, we seem to like our own words and our voice. So be active participants, because it's also mutual. We feel in the air, but we try to give space for you if you indicate that you want to take some space. Yes, now it comes. And back to Mentee, please.
Yeah, if you just refresh it will ask you that, do you go to the next slide? There was just more answer coming just for the first question, which was really, really nice. They are all there now, but now I changed the question there and you see it in there. So it's the same Mentee. There's 3 alternatives you can choose. So we will see that. What is the situation at this moment? I will go check that if the Mentee works. Yep, there is answers coming already. So you have now you have a different kind of Mentee. You don't have to write. You can just choose one of the alternatives there is. Let's wait some time. The answers started coming now. So we will wait. There's 13 answers now. So if you just state the same mentee.com, and then the code is the same. And if you now go there, then there's a different question than there was.
Yeah, if someone joined after the first Mentee, take your mobile phone. Take your mobile phone and go one of the browsers, www.mentee.com. And when you are in there, you are asked the code. You have the code on the screen. Type that code. And then this question, are you using PBL in your uni, opens to you. And then you just select the one of those 3 that Ulla-Maja has given us options and click submit. It's so easy. But mobile phone, that's the easiest way of maneuvering the browsers now, smartphone. Okay, more coming in, Ulla.
Yes, there's 23 now. This is actually very interesting what I see here. So 23, yeah, 24 at this moment. Yeah.
Please do it now. We can't afford to wait very long because there are more mentees ahead and group works ahead and some talk of hours ahead, maybe annotate ahead. So I don't know if you are familiar with Annotate tool. We are trying to introduce it as well at some point. it or not, if it's only 20 plus replies.
Yeah, it's 26. I can share the.
It's probably the you can share it now. It's probably the instability of even my internet is warning that it's not too well. So the reality sometimes is okay. So Anthony, question to you: do you think this reflects the general what it is among your members that most haven't used it yet? Anthony, are you there following us? Would someone else like to share his or her expert view if this result reflects the reality? Florence, Dr. Florence, yes, that might be very true, but actually it is quite new for you. So thank you for your interest and optimism that this could be a solution, at least your interest of yours, trying to find out if this could be a solution for you. In this session, we don't much discuss, but somehow about the essence of BBL. It comes through these different roles and responsibilities of partners. So Ulla-Maja, can you let me back?
Yes.
Yes,
I can let you back.
eager to go.
Yeah, now we see. You can continue the next.
Yeah, it's just that mine doesn't want to. It doesn't want to move.
Change the slide.
Yeah, it doesn't want to change the slide.
Does not the arrow.
It did the same this morning. It just jammed at some point, and then after a while, because I think it's the internet connection which is not so. This is difficult.
I can share.
Use the arrow on the computer.
That's what I'm doing. I'm using the arrows, but it doesn't go one way or the other. That's how it worked the first slides.
I will share.
Okay. Yeah, please. I'm really sorry. It did the same. We had the AgriScale BBR board meeting this morning and it blocked the same way. Okay, thanks, Ulla. So we first want to emphasize during this session that it's a collaborative process. And then we want to let you to understand that what are the challenges of a student, how the students have to be supported to be partners of problem-based learning. Then the lecturers the same. What are the feelings of the lecturer and how the lecturers could be supported to be part of BBL. Then at the BBL, very critical is that BBL works together with the society. So how to engage these, what is their role of industry, business, NGO partners, and then to conclude that what the management is to do to make this whole engine running, as we call it here during this session. So the next, please. Collaboration. So everyone, this picture is from Benin. We do one of the keys maybe in this session is to understand that no one can make it alone. Everyone has a role, everyone has a responsibility. Like this fisherman, here it's men and boys pulling the net. And then the ones outside the picture are women and girls who then start treating the harvest, and men take a different role, and boys, they seem to be do the business with the fish. So in BBL, it's also, there are different actors, different roles, and one can have a double role even in making it a success. Please. So the objective is, like, it's good to remind what we are doing. This is the Nobel laureate, Mohamed Yunus, who developed the microbanking concept, microcredit concept, and he said it in one of the sessions that I was privileged to listen last year, that education is turning people from job seekers to solution creators. And the BBL is a way to do this. So if those who have not yet, you are not yet familiar with BBL, I think this is a valuable message for you to take with you, that it's changing completely how we see the role of the learner. They should be problem solvers. And when you're thinking how to create a problem solvers, then you start thinking that what BBL is about. And next. So this goes now already to the conclusion of the session of today. If you want to continue what you have, go on with the practices what you have, and you are okay, it works. But if you are setting new objectives, you have to realize that the institutional way of working, that includes the management, the lecturing staff, and the students, it has to be changed. It has to be rediscovered to support the new objectives. And this is something that is, it takes more than what we think. That is at least our experience as partners of this kind of exercise. When our university turned into this, oh my gosh, if the time comes during the discussions, we share the stories that how tricky it was. It's not only for us, people like Ulla-Maja and me, but also for the management. They had to rediscover the way of managing. But still today, when we get the students from secondary school, we have to make the students to discover BBL, a new way of learning. Yes. So, and even going one step further, it's the education governance. Because as a university, not us, not any of your universities, you're not free to do what you want. So if your education governance, Ministry of Higher Education or Ministry, whatever names they have in every country, they give you the framework how you work. We have been with Ulla-Maja through so many curricula of our partner institutions, definitely at least 20 curricula during the last 10 months, peruse them, how competence-based they are, how well they accommodate problem-based learning, what could be done. We have been given detailed guidance for our partners that how they could accommodate BBL. And we have a long list of issues that we have learned to come restricting what the universities can do. So this is one of the issues that the universities, of course, they are having the constant dialogue with the education governance, but it's also to use the framework in the best possible way. The way we are used to reading the legislation guidance, it might still give some possibilities if you read it through BBL lenses. But we have to recognize the limits. We cannot go beyond what is in the book, meaning the law. But everyone is having a role and a responsibility. And how have we, now I guess we are starting from the students, are we? So collaboration, it's collaboration, it's collaboration. Everyone on board, your system is as strong or as the weakest link in this system, and your system is as strong as the weakest link. So it sounds very naive, but these little things that if the students don't know their role, if the lecturers are not willing to work with you, you are stuck. It doesn't work. So if you don't recognize, if you don't support, if you don't teach everyone to swim, you will never reach there, or you will reach partially, or you are causing conflicts, confusion inside the organization. Now, is it the student now? And one more time, that these arrows here, they are to reflect the fact that it's ongoing. The processes has to be put on in place with constantly kind of, we call it, you could put the participatory action research framework. The organization has to be, for BBL, it has to be set up in a way that you constantly collect feedback, and you constantly reflect, constantly modify your individual and the organizational ways of implementing BBL for the better. If you stop, you think that it's one-time exercise, it will not work. It's kind of ongoing dialogue where all the parties have to have a way to contribute to that dialogue. Please. So now we start talking about the roles and responsibilities. Go to the next slide, Ulla, please. It's the student. And now one more. Yes, next. This is how our students, Ulla-Maija, this is what you did for your first year. The students that joined HAMK Ulla-Maija's degree program, the first course, explain the results.
Yes, we do this, that we don't ask them that, okay, how do you want to study or anything, but we started the new academic year with the new students 8 weeks ago. And then they were their first week and they get to know each other and get to know us teachers. And then the very next Monday, we had a representative from the city of Helsinki, which is the capital of Finland, and they want our students to perform a project for them. So we have had two different people from Helsinki there, live people outside of the university, standing there and asking the students to do something for them. And these were
This was very demanding. Sorry to interrupt, but that was very demanding.
Yeah, it was rather demanding task, and it's something that will be published under the name of City of Helsinki. So they don't want to publish just anything. It's about actually about the ecosystem services and biodiversity, and they wanted them to do something that the inhabitants of Helsinki would understand better. What are these things? And so they gave this assignment, and when they left, I make mentee to the students and I ask that, how do you feel now? Just right away when these representatives left. And well, you see, most of them were very excited, and it was both positive and also negative excitement. And they were really like, this is interesting, but I am afraid of. And they all felt this sort of like two-way. Most of them there, are we really doing something? I just started. Am I really doing something for this real life contact? And this is all just chaos. I really don't know from where to start. And I am afraid if I cannot even do this, can I do this? And there was a lot of mixed feelings. Most of were really positively waiting that, okay, what's going on? But at the same time, they felt stress that how can we do this? So this was the situation where we were in a second week, and this was all the mixed feelings that were inside students.
Yeah, so you can expect the same. Your system, what I know about African secondary schools, your students are even less prepared than our students, that some head of department of Nairobi City would come, or some Uber Kenya director would come to the classroom and tell, produce us, please, this or that, and the student is 1 week old in the institution. But we are going to convince you that it works. So next, please, Ulla. Students are having these feelings, not only BBL bad altogether. So we have to recognize seriously that we have to put the students on board to make them BBL learners. Please. So again, going back to go to the next slide. Yeah. Again, this is a reminder. The next slide is a reminder that what does it mean to be a problem solver? This is from our bachelor degree national qualification framework. We follow European Union framework, and in Finland is strictly copied to us that what the graduates are to learn. So this is a framework generally for bachelor education, With yellow, you can see that how our ministry defines the substance knowledge. It's one bullet point. With gray background, you see the skills we are to develop for the graduates, and the rest is the attitude. Rest is, if you go to the definition of competence, it's threefolded. It's knowledge, skills, and it's the attitude. It's this being a professional. So the rest is developing the attitude. That is the critical point. And this is why we are applying BBL. This is the reason why we bring the High Director of Helsinki City, which is our biggest city, in front of the students when they are 1 or 2 days old, and tell them we start cooperating and you will survive, you will do good work for these guys, because we don't know any other way to make them problem solvers. If we make them sit in a classroom to follow me, they might be able to repeat me, but I tell later why this is a failure. Please, next. So now Ulla-Maja is going to throw you into the breakout rooms where you have 10 minutes to discuss how to support students to become BBL learners. And how do we, Ulla-Maja, want the teams to report? Shall we write the responses to chat box?
Yeah, I hope that the teams, I just have to check first that, I hope you take or I think you can remember the task you are given, which is just to discuss that, how would you support the students? So I want you to go to the groups where we just share you very soon. And
Yeah,
some of you have notes, and when we come back, I tell you when to paste the discussions to the chat. So whatever you discuss, we would like to know that, and then you can pass it to the chat. But now I have to close so I will stop sharing my screen. So you will now just remember the task.
Well, yeah, when she's throwing you into the rooms, immediately select one rapporteur. That person, then when you come back from the group, copy paste this the main points of the discussion to the chat box, so we get a recording of what you have been talking. We don't prepare PowerPoints, anything. We collect the data from the chat box where you copy paste, and then we discuss it, please.
Except there's a problem that I don't have rights to do the breakout room, so I need the assistant from Forum to do that.
Yes, because it's Anthony or Francis Otto, whoever is there. Please
David,
now help to do the breakout rooms, because you are the host of the session.
I think it's David who's.
Yeah, David. Okay, David, please.
Yeah, it's about to have like 6 persons, so that will mean like 11, 12 breakout rooms, and have 10 minutes time, and just send people in there. So if you, David, can hear.
Yeah, randomly selected, just send people.
Yeah, random selection for the. Yeah. I don't have the button. I'm not host, so I cannot do it. So it requires the host to do it.
Is there someone from the forum who can now help us with this?
Unfortunately, Prof, this one was set up as a webinar, and the capacity may not allow for breakup. Let me consult with my friend to see what we can do, my colleague.
Yes, because unfortunately we cannot handle it from our end at all. It's
just give us a few minutes to see what to do.
Yeah. So not to waste while waiting for them to do this, let's have an ad hoc chat. If someone, because these are no secrets, if someone who has been applying BBL would be kind to raise their hand and want to share your experiences with your students when you started applying BBL. Please. We had about 10 answers that you have BBL experiences. What is your experience regarding students' capacity to be a BBL learner? Please raise your hand and take the floor. Don't be shy, please. please. Someone has been doing it, definitely.
Sorry, we were trying to consult. Technically, when we set this meeting as a webinar, some functionality like breakout room is not permitted. But for interactivity, we can allow talking and video and everything else. Like if you ask us to permit.
Yes. So Ulla-Maja, can we take annotate now that people can start writing? Instead of group works, we'll take annotate now. And we teach people how to start writing there. Can we write in annotate?
Just a moment. Just a moment.
We have to apologize, everyone. We didn't realize that this kind of there was not enough communication between. We took it self-clear. We didn't even ask from Dr. Francis or Dr. Anthony that if this is possible or not. We just assumed. So let us try to find another way of doing this. Either annotate or then start. You can also start using chat box. Start writing down your thinking, and we'll pick up some ideas from there and start talking. We have to make you now to talk.
Wants to become. I cannot make the mentee anymore.
It's too. So would Dr. Francis or Dr. Anthony, I have to go to say that the sun took me in my Nairobi office. You who know the participants, you might be able to encourage some of the participants to start sharing. We don't know anyone. It's embarrassing to get the discussion started. We have to go now to alternative notes.
So how will you pick the participant? Would they need to raise their hand, or if you?
Yeah, I have been inviting them to raise yes.
Yes.
They can raise the hand, or if no one is raising hand, you just select someone whom you know that is capable, does not get too afraid of talking, because we don't want to embarrass anyone. But we don't see any hands, so.
They already raised hands.
Are they?
Yeah, we don't see. It's an attendees list. You have to change there. So yeah, about the students and yeah. I see.
Okay, now Hilda, Dr. Hilda, I'll start picking. Dr. Hilda, please.
Hilda, can you unmute, then you can talk.
No, Hilda is there.
Okay, the hand disappeared. Dr. Jaffer.
Hilda is there.
Hello. Hello.
Okay, good.
Hello. Hello.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name's Hilda Vasantha. I'm from the College of Agriculture, Animal Science and Veterinary Medicine from the University of Rwanda. I did this project-based learning a few years back, but I couldn't continue it. But from last year onwards, I'm doing problem-based learning. I did with the undergraduate students. I teach food science and technology. So the course is called as Cereal Science and Technology. I teach cereal science and technology, and in this I was able to divide my students. I had approximately 74 students in the class. I divided them into groups of 11 students each. And after dividing them, I gave them 4 weeks assignment throughout the semester. I asked them to first go through the review of literature because I was trying to teach them to make the bread processing into nutritious one by adopting the sourdough technology. And so I asked them to study literature on what is sourdough because they know the basic dough processing and how its functionalities are. So I just told them to go in for the sourdough technology. So they went, they studied it, then they made their Then they made their protocols, how they would do it. Then they went in for analysis in the food chemistry lab. Then they also went in for, processing lab, then to the food chemistry lab, then to the food microbiology lab. So they took weeks over it. So after 4 weeks of doing, wherever they had problems, I asked them, if you have any problems, kindly let me know. And we always met every week to understand their challenges and to move forward. Sorry. I'm sorry. Then once we finished that assignment, at the end of the 4th week, we assessed their products and got the data from the lab, and we had the students to make their presentation. I'm sorry. So during this time, students developed not only teamwork, they were able to use the skills which they learned in other courses in food chemistry and food analysis, in food microbiology. They learned ICT and communication skills, etc. Sorry. Last year, during the COVID, I also had an opportunity to mentor one of my PhD students, where we are trying to make a food product for the malnourished called as the Rutuf, ready-to-use therapeutic food. And in this, we were able to work with an NGO and food processing industry. So this work is going on. So this one is a project-based learning. The other one was a problem-based learning. So that was for undergraduate students, and this one is for PhD student. So it is a very good way in which you throw a problem, and skills are developed in student and the lecturer are able to interact and we are able to progress and to move ahead to solve a problem that occurs in the industry or occurs in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Hilda, for sharing your experience. And I think for those who have not been with problem-based learning yet, you did very good summary of the key points. That's how you teach those competencies, this attitude part that is the difficult one. You listed the metacognitive competencies that graduates are to have. And you also emphasized that there always has to be an outside contractor. It's not teacher developing the problems, or the lecturer developing them, but it's from someone who needs a solution to something. So now we take one more. So Professor Jaffer, please share your experience, and after that we will continue showing that what we are doing. Please. Balay Yusa Jaffer, please.
Jaffer, you have to unmute.
Microphone is still muted. Maybe he raised his hand, but the line doesn't open. Or I'm sorry, I'm not sure if it's she or he. I'm not able to interpret the name. Okay, Ulla, while waiting, instead of waiting, let us take back our screen. And I'm really sorry for this. We should have communicated. This will not happen again. we will talk to have the rooms. So I think here is the very key, that what happens for the student when they jump from secondary schools to university with a problem-based learning. There are these frustrations, even denial. Some students don't feel, they say that I'm not a team worker, or I'm not this or that, or I don't want to do this or that. We feel all these, they come across at some point. But if you think the real world of work, all these, what Dr. Hilda explained is needed. ICT skills, leadership skills, critical thinking, team working. They are the keys to be employed, to be the problem solvers. So students really have to be supported with this. And the lecturer's role is now, because they come with open minds and open eyes to us, it's ours to gently lead them, to give them an opportunity to become our followers. It would be great if they had these skills when they come, but we just have to admit the fact that at least with us, they don't always have them. Some of them have, but most of them, even our secondary school education, it focuses on exams that they have to perform, and therefore this kind of ownership and initiative taking is not in the core of their secondary school studies. So next, please. So this is what I said, that what difference comes in kind of traditional way of teaching and learning. If you repeat professor's words, you are doing well. I actually remember having read an article about a student from Asia who came to our university, and those who get the possibility to go abroad, they're normally very clever, the best ones in the groups. And that student wrote in that interview that he used to be really good and getting good marks, and he applied the same methods when he came to HAMK, and it was a huge shock for that student to realize that he hardly passed. Because when the student ended up repeating what teacher had said at the classroom, the lecturer was not happy at all. The lecturer wanted to see that what out of the information and learning the student could produce, not what I have, that's all news tomorrow. The news have to be the news of tomorrow, and students have to develop these news. So he had to really learn a new way of learning. And this is also, now it can go into your regulatory frameworks, that what kind of exams can you have? This kind of exams, if your students are forced to repeat your words or what is in the book, they don't develop problem solvers, but this can limit you. It can really be a limiting factor. Please, next. Ulla, how do we support? You are working there with these students. How do you support them to turn into something you feel a problem-based learner?
Yeah, well, I think the first point is really to understand how they feel, that you really have to understand that, well, you are extremely important to them, even though now it changes that the student is the one who is sort of owning the learning process, but still you as a mentor are the most important element of the learning. They don't survive because, as you saw, that our students are having this kind of shock inside of them. If you don't guide them there out of that shock, they will not learn, but they will frustrate. So you are there to strengthen where they are stepping. First, when they are as a first or second week students, they are really like, I don't know what to do. They don't trust themselves, especially if they are not used to work in this kind of way. So you really must be there to be their mentor. And this is extremely important in the first course when they come in, but of course also later, because not all of them just won't right away absorb that I am now active learner. It doesn't happen like that. Usually the first course is really bad. They are like, well, I don't know, and they might be hesitant through the whole first course. So then you are as well needed also later, because you are the one telling them that, yes, you are doing the right thing. Or when they are hesitant, because that's what they are. So you can just tell them that, yes, you are going to the right direction, but you are not allowed to tell them what is the direction. It's their decision. They solve the problem and they choose their direction where they start. And then you're like, have you thought of that? Or then you are like, yes, well done, go on. It does not take too much time, for example, but you have to listen to them. They have to talk and explain, and then you are supporting and being their like strength to them. And that's what you do. They don't need you to go there and tell them what to do, but be there to give them the confidence. And also, like, this is a curricula based, and you know, if you take them to your course, there's something you want to teach them. But so usually, of course, you choose the problem to be something that is inside your course curricula, what you are teaching to them. But you can, in that same process, you can check that where are they and what they are doing. And then you can have different kind of support system, like study counseling and student unions and everything like that. But still, when you ask from the students that what is the most important factor that this problem-based learning succeeded, it's always the mentor. And it's not the mentor telling them what to do, but give them the courage how to do it. So that's the role.
Yep, and that goes directly to what the mentor does. It senses your work patterns completely. Earlier, you spent time preparing possibly lectures and delivering, and then marking the exams. Now you are spending same time, or probably in the beginning of the process, or if your classrooms are very large, you're spending more time on talking with students, or rather, like Ulla-Maja says, listening to them, because with very little hints, you have to guide them to find their own way. Someone told me that the biggest challenge for a tutor, for a lecturer to become a BBL mentor is to keep mouth shut. Is that you really have to give space for the students to understand where they are and then guide them towards what you feel is the right direction, but let them discover their own way, respect them and trust them. The first weeks are even the first course, depending on us, it can take really a long time, but they do it eventually. Okay, next. So this is also that how this goes even deeper. Ulla-Maja, you might continue here, how to involve the students in the whole process.
Yes, so it's not that, of course, after every course, I know you have these feedbacks. So we also have this, of course, the regular feedback after every course. And then already during when we are having this course, you need this dialogue, because with the problems, there is, for example, that your problem cannot be too hard and it cannot be too easy. It has to be in the middle. Sometimes we give them, for example, too large problem. So you are in the dialogue with the whole process, because if they say that, okay, we have to now do this, and then you are there as a mentor, then you tell them that drop that part, or let's share this problem to be divided as a two, because you have to be there and listen them through the whole process. Because if it's too easy or too hard, the problem, then it's not going to work. So these are what happens sort of during the courses and after the course. But then also we have these that we meet they ask from among themselves that what are the issues today, and then we have a meeting and we discuss about the issues they have, and we answer to them how we are going to improve things. So that happens twice every year. Then we have these student representatives in faculty meetings, in HAMK board, even the highest level, there's a student representation. And then, of course, they have the student unions, and then we do these alumni questions that those who have already graduated and have entered the work life. Then we ask that, did it help you that you did use this problem-based learning, or what kind of skills and competencies do you need now, and did you get them from us or should we improve something? So that's the sort of the roles of the students in the whole process.
Yeah, so it's a holistic process. So the next is the teacher. What happens to the teacher? Okay, and I think we have do we have a mentee first? Or how did, yes, now it's something that works. Please, now, back to your mentee. If there are new people who arrived after we started, take your mobile phones and www.mentee.com and the code, Ulla-Maja, you took it off, please.
Yes, I will. I have to change the mentee slide, so just a second.
Okay.
I will,
yeah.
but it should
So,
work.
but go to your smartphone, mentee.com, and then Ulla-Maja will give you the code. You will need this code. There is a question, do you see BBL as an important approach to learning? Okay, this is now a question that a bit summarizes that what did we explain to you, because it takes a lot from the students to change, and you heard that how it's changing the role of you as a lecturer. Are you still confident with BBL? Do you see as an important approach to learning? Please, I think there are options, yes or no, or something a bit skeptical, yes, in between, or how have you formulated it?
We will see.
Yeah, but there are three options, I guess.
Yes,
to say.
there are three options, and yeah. Let's see what you choose.
Yeah,
I can write that to the chat,
yeah.
but it's the same number. The code is the same. So if you already went into the mentee, now it's just the question is changing.
Yeah. We want to know a bit if you still feel comfortable after this changing role of yours, if you still feel comfortable becoming a BBL mentor. And don't be ashamed of it, because we can't see the replies. Mentee is safe in a way that no one can trace back who replies what. So be honest, because it's not for everyone. It's definitely not for everyone. So it's better to say it than you don't have to reply here anything, being afraid that someone can trace them back. It's just impossible. Be honest.
There is a rather interesting question in this question and answer section. I don't know if all can see it, but yeah, you should see. I don't know if the other attendees can see it, but it's a question about how the professors in universities feel that I know it all, and you know, and we call it in a way that the teacher thinks that students only learn when I give the information to them, and it says that I was treated this way, others must suffer the same. So how can we break this? This is a very important thing we will discuss more later, but that's why it needs to be management level decision that are we changing the style, how we teach and how we want our students to learn. Because of course I cannot go to say to another professor that well, you are not doing this right or something like that. It just does not work that way, of course, in universities or anywhere. So that's why it has to come from you know, it has to be an approach where we all believe, and especially the management believes. And when the management tells you that now you have to teach the competencies and we have chose to use the problem-based learning, it sort of does not leave the choice. I mean, I have had a lot of colleagues who've been like, I don't want to do this. This is too hard. I don't want to be involved with the companies. I don't want to be a supporter. I want to tell my knowledge to the students. So, but they have to change their attitude. They don't change it as 100%, but they have to change it at least some bit, if it is this kind of approach that your university supports. Like if they say, like in where we both work and teach, it is said that we work through real life cases with the real life companies, and there will be real life problems coming and projects, and I just have to do it. I don't have a choice.
Ulla, a very good reply. There's a coming a message that mentee is not refreshing. Please,
Okay.
sorry, I'm interrupting, but
No,
you
it's
have
fine.
to, because I'm not able to, I'm my mentee skills. So yes, this kind of, I tell you a small story that while Ulla-Maja is working with the mentees, that in one of the teams that we were training was an older gentleman in one of our countries. And he said that he's really fed up with teaching and it's not, he was waiting for retirement. And he actually confessed at some point that he was not treating the students very nicely because it's kind of that he didn't feel comfortable with his work. So, and he anyway joined the trainings. And then after, was it half a year or something, I went to visit the school and talk to them. And that very gentleman was very open and frank in front of everyone. He told that, look, this is what he was. And this is now that he has started enjoying. So he somehow got new energy from doing things differently. He said that actually it takes a bit of in his mind, but he has come to the conclusion that in long run, it makes him to work actually less in a way that he's not the one worrying that my internet is not working, I don't get access to the newest, whatever, I have to spend time preparing the lectures. They started a joint collaborative process with students. Students started respecting him better. He felt good feedback from the students. So it worked both ways. So it's not giving back what you were given, but try to find the enjoyment of the work. So Ulla-Maja, did you find the solution to mentee? Are there some replies coming?
Yeah, there's replies coming. So it should
okay,
work.
we'll have a look. We'll have a look how this group trusts.
Let's do that. Let's see, I can share it.
Absolutely, yes, not sure yet. Okay, and no one is completely opposite. This is a good starting point. It's challenging us nicely, Ulla-Maja, that will make the rest of them convinced.
Yes.
So let us continue.
Yeah, I will share the
yeah.
Just a second, it's here. So
yes.
Oh, now we have this chat activity.
Yes. Yeah, but this we have to drop now because it doesn't work. So we
no, it was just for everyone. This is for everyone. If I would now say, yeah, I changed it. It's for everyone to think that if I would say now, this is now from the teacher's point of view. If I would now say that you go back to work tomorrow and we go to the problem-based learning, what is your first feeling? What is the thing, what kind of support would you like to have? If you think of it that way, that, okay, now you go to work, your management says that, okay, it's BBL. How do you feel? I hope you think first and then use the chat. We give you 2 minutes. I think it's silent.
Yeah.
And then let's see.
But type your replies so we start collecting them. This was supposed to be a group work, but we are now innovative.
Yeah, now there's answers coming.
Yeah, now they are coming very well. Thank you.
Yes, yes, there's very good comments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good.
This is not for mentee, it was for the chat if someone was waiting for the mentee. So this was for the chat, so we can discuss about the points you have found here.
Yeah. Yes, we are very aware that some of you are struggling with many of you most probably struggling with the limited resources. PBL does not solve those issues. But regarding the facilities used, actually one of our colleagues is now running an ODL, open distance learning PBL methodology course with more than 100 lecturers in East Africa in our project framework. And one of his key messages is that if you don't have something fancy, use what you have. So he is using WhatsApp, Facebook, this kind of tools in teaching. He has been working a lot in Asian countries, Nepal, Vietnam, this kind of places where the facilities are really that we have a lot of fancy tools, but his solution is that Facebook, WhatsApp, the tools that people are used to, they can be used in teaching as well. There are coming this, I haven't been able to read everything, Ulla, you are probably better, but one thing that I can comment is this management. And I think your comments are now talking about the same, that where we are heading little by little, that it starts from the management. But also I see in the comments that you are really thinking that how your role would change. It would change. It would definitely change. In long run, in short run, it might take more time, but in long run, there's no difference in time use. We are heading towards the same what you are having now, that we were privileged early days, 20, 30, 50 students. Gosh, I have 50 students. And now Ulla-Maja tells me that she's starting classes next September with 120. And then she's going to apply the same. So actually in our project framework, we are already doing with our East African project partners, virtual challenges where Finnish companies or African companies are giving the challenge and then students in mixed teams work. But we are supporting everyone, the mentors as well, to do this. It's workable, but it requires support. Is there something, Ulla-Maja, you have picked up that we would like to comment?
Well, my first pickup is that I hope you read the comments of the others from the chat, because this is really a valuable discussion. We couldn't have this online discussion, but it seems that there's very good comments here. I keep reading them. Yes, there's the need of resources as in time-wise and so on. But for me, for example, the longer I have been doing this, I feel more, I don't know, I feel it's first, yes, it has taken for more resources in the beginning because I needed the contacts to the companies, and which I didn't have. But then when I started having them, it is usually the way that when you do one thing for them, then they ask, oh, wait, we have another thing. Can you do this another thing for us with the students also? So you don't need that, you don't have to run around every year many times, because when you do it and start with someone, the problems start to come from there. Then they also hear that, we heard that the students were solving the problem, so can they come to our company too? So when you just start with it, it helps. Also now I don't have to renew my lectures every year, like or all the time and do the new lectures, because it has just changed my workload to be in the different time of this course, and then I sort of feel that I have almost more freedom when I go to the classes, because I'm more there to investigate that, okay, students, where are you now? And then they tell me where they are. And because I am, of course, expert of my topics as you are yours, you can very easily hear that they are now going to the wrong direction. I will help them just to, have you thought of that? So that doesn't require 8 hours your work, you know, in that sense. So when you sort of get used to it and everything starts to roll, I don't feel anymore that it takes more time or takes more resources. Of course, this change, it's huge. It took a long time to do the change, and then, you know, so like that, but it will change. I'm also reading that.
I guess, Ulla-Maja, if we go back to our slides, they will show that teachers are having same kind of feelings than the students. The change to BBL is difficult. So we might take the next slide.
Yeah, I hope someone.
Thank you for all those comments.
Yes,
we collect them for further use in the project frameworks. They are really valuable, all of them. So
there was this group work assessing, but yes, I think.
Yeah, just go to the next one. Yes.
Yes, we have a mentee. I have to change the slide. It takes a second.
Yeah.
And this is now what you actually already just said, because that's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
But
but we jump over if we already talked our story.
Yeah, it's about these issues.
Yeah,
now
but I think we had I don't know what is the time, Ulla-Maja. We have to be a bit time conscious.
Okay, we go. Yeah, because you commented this already.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So we go further.
So this is maybe the one of the mentally most difficult things for anyone. I'll tell Ulla's story short. Ulla was on this left-hand side when she was a young and fresh new teacher, really spending, there was a fly, really spending nights preparing those huge lecturers and having everything up to date. And when she was told to jump out from the podium, it was frightening. It was really frightening. Told that take this chocolate box and go to the companies and ask, do you want to work with me? I don't know how she survived, but now she's there that companies contact her and she feels comfortable. But the journey there in between has to be recognized that it takes effort. It doesn't happen overnight and it doesn't happen without proper support. And I think our next slide tries to explain that the feelings of the teachers. This was from one of the sessions, Ulla-Maja, where we were training, right?
Yes,
teachers,
we were.
Yes.
Yes, we have had a set of this kind of trainings we have now with you, and then we did ask that how would the teachers there define themselves? And you see, I think you can relate to these adjectives when you look at this. That how do you feel as a teacher? And these are all very good. Very good words for BBL mentor as well, as you look at it. So I think we had
people. So most of you who are teachers, you love what you are doing. You are there for choice. Though in some African contexts, at least on technical schools, I have come across to teachers that it's a government job, that you are assigned to be a teacher. So it's not a free choice. But most of you, I'm sure that you are very passionate And this kind of mental shift that you have wanted to start training the young people, and now then someone tells you that it should be done differently, what you feel, you can imagine that what dissonance it creates in your head. You don't feel necessarily comfortable. You know that you know the topic, you want the young people to learn, and then you should still make them to learn in a different way. So we are humans. This is now, I think the next slide might tell that it takes these issues that many feel that yes, it's okay. Some feel that with some exercise it will work, but some really feel that it's difficult. But this change is always difficult, and this that it's zero even in this that I'm not, it's not PBL for me. I can even remember one dissertation in Finland that when we did the transformation, so there's been a lot of research done. His topic was that he found among the university teachers like Ulla and me, he found a group of teaching staff who was not willing to join PBL for various reasons. And this is the truth. Whatever you tell, that is the truth. But majority with time, it will work. Like Ulla-Maja says, that if the management decides, we are not really asked. It's being a good manager, and it's being a good how do you say, worker or subordinate. That if you are, but the system has to allow you guidance and support. And is it the next slide that lists how we feel that the teacher? This is, this we can more or less jump over for the benefit of time, because it's skills, knowledge, and attitude. But this, can you, Ulla-Maja, mention something about anxiety and stress that you have felt in this process?
Well, yeah,
where to start?
Yeah, and it's been a different. You have to be or think that you're a different kind of. All of you are there a different kind of, and it has changed. It's been a difference for example, me and like 5 my closest colleagues. I think it's been a difference. Some of how it has taken more time just to deal with this stress, and because I remember when I first time ever. Because we thought first that we will start this new approach with the new students, that we already have students whom are 2nd or 3rd grade, and let them continue with the old system. But now when the new ones come, we start with the new system. And I had a project, and I went to the classroom, and I was like, I'm now going to tell them this project, but I don't believe they start doing anything, because why would they? They have never done anything like that. And then I had prepared in my mind different kind of speeches that I am telling them that why you have to do this, and you have to do this, and how to what to tell them that I'm able to do to make them to do this, to start solving the problem. So I went to the classroom, and then I felt really stress and anxiety that how is it going? And then I was just like, okay, now I hope you do this. And they were just a minute silent, and then they just started to work. And I was like, okay, why did I have a stress? I'm like, then one group was like, we were not sure how to start. So we were thinking about this and that. Do you think this is right? And I'm like, yeah, I think it sounds right. And then it just started. They started to think. Like if they are silent too long time, then you just ask them that, what do you think you should do first? And that's it. Then they start thinking then what to do. And it just starts going on. So, but you have to always remember that when you go to there, you don't know how they are going to react. So if you are not ready to go to the classroom where you don't know what happens every minute, then you might feel this stress like a longer time. But if you are ready to understand that you are the professional of that topic, that you can always go to the classroom and live with the situation that you don't know what happens every minute, but you can trust your own expertise, that whatever they ask, you can guide them. Or you can say that, let's find out, where would you look the information for that? That you can always lead this process. But some of my colleagues feel that I need to know what they are going to ask beforehand. But that's hard when you have problems or projects, what you are. But you should trust yourself. But that's probably what is one reason for the stress, that you are not sort of.
I think that was.
Yeah.
I think that was a very honest answer, Ulla-Maija, that it gives these feelings that inside yourself. So is it the next slide telling the solution? Yeah. That goes back, Ulla-Maija. You may explain that what I said in the beginning, that it's not orthodox. So we have to find a way that fits for you.
Yeah. So there is this way that if you read anything about the problem-based learning, it's usually from the medicine, has been the first one where they tried this, and then you can find a lot of literature and research of BBL, and it means that they teach everything to this BBL. And we have in Finland many universities which have a different kind of approaches, their own models. But we also have at least one forestry university which uses this very pure BBL. Everything is taught through BBL. But then we have, for example, our system where we have mixed system. That we have like some parts of it is as sort of more traditional lecturing, but then we use this information which is first lectured to solve some problem. So we have this hybrid system. And then it could be in a way that is every teacher or lecturer supposed to be tutor? Or is there someone who is like coordinator and then there's these tutors who work it? And do you use this team teaching, which we use? I don't never be alone. Like you mentioned that, okay, I have 200 students. Okay, there might be, for example, for me, if there's a group of 3 teachers whom are team teaching, then one of them, it's okay if one of them have the contact to the companies, then the problems come from there. And you can give the same problem for multiple teams, because that's how you get also multiple solutions for the company to choose what would they choose. So that's where the team is very handy. Also, if you think of it that you have 200 students, I don't have to read 200 exams because I share them to be as a teams. And then if there's 3 teachers, the team is 3 teachers, that does not leave me too many reports or solutions I read after the course, because that's all I read. I read that. So we share them. There's 3 of us. The 200 is first divided to the teams, and then there's 1 work for team, and those are divided to the 3 teachers. So that's actually one thing that helps with the anxiety and stress, because you can use the strengths.
And sorry, Ulla-Maija, this was answer to one of the chat questions, was the evaluation. So this is the answer that it's the group works evaluated, and then we use the peer evaluation. So we can still differentiate the marks inside the group, but that differentiation is done based on the feedback from the student peers. So the ones who has been not having time or has been lazy, the colleagues reveal that person. It's unveiled, and that person will get a lower mark than the one who has been working hard and doing good work. So there are mechanisms that actually the marking work is something that goes, that is where the time savings are coming, but we don't have, unfortunately, time for the details now. But it will become in one of the sessions if you are interested in.
Yeah, and then you can also use a tutor who is not expert of the subject. For example, PhD students, or they are of course experts, but you could have, the tutor, it doesn't necessarily be an expert of, it must be expert who knows how to support students, but it doesn't need to be someone, because those people are usually better guiding the students to the right, because we who know the subject, we easily start having lectures. If the students ask something, we are like, I can tell you now, it's this and that and that. So that's so it doesn't need to be an expert. It can be an expert. So it's a difference. And yes, it's also possible to use students whom are already higher grades, so as a BBL tutors.
Yeah, that came an answer, a question on these marking systems. This is one of the, it goes back to where we started, the legal framework, that what you have to do. Ours is pretty flexible. We don't have compulsory weekly whatever, or we don't have compulsory exams. The teacher is free to select the mode of evaluation. But this has to be considered seriously when you prepare your contextualized models. It can be very limiting, and to find a way for that, the solutions are individual. And now comes that the detailed list, that what can be done by management for the teachers, for the lecturers, mentors. Ulla-Maija, please.
Yeah, so we have these are gathered from very many sources that already, those who are only starting and now feeling that I don't have enough knowledge of this or that, and also based on research that what is needed. And yes, these are the points are here, that for example, you now think that I need the problems. So should I go there myself? The management should support you to how to find the problems. Then you will need the trainings. You will need the training. The students will need some kind of training. When you first start, if you just make them to go there, they have no idea why. Why are we doing suddenly this? And so on. You also need this training for them. And then, yes, the assessments. We use the rubric systems that they fill up these forms, and we don't have that. If I ask them that, give each of your colleagues a number and tell me that what did they do for the team to reach the best possible solution for this problem. I think they are quite honest, especially if everyone gives everyone 5, which is the maximum. I send it back and tell them that, okay, then I need you to tell me why is this, why do you give the maximum to everyone? And there's a different kind of approaches, but yes, we ask from the team members that who did what, sort of kind of. And there could be, for example, now I'm having a report from a team and there's 2 empty pages, and it says only the name of the student who was in charge of filling up those 2 pages. Now it's empty, those pages, because why would the others do the work and then that would get a free degree number, for example? They don't do that. The pages of the report could be empty. So I know that the person who was in charge didn't do his or her job, so it's empty. So, but there's a different method for the assessment, but it must be different than just to have the end exam, because you need to measure, you can measure competencies and you can measure everything else by the rubric is a good word. Someone wrote it, Hilda, I think there. You can find the rubrics from the internet, which will help you with the assessment. Yeah, and the management, as you can see here, it says many times, management. So it's to give you the like free thinking, but then also support the whole system.
Thank you. Let's see, and then we have the industry and stakeholders. This, as you hear.
We are losing your contact is weak. Connection. At least I lost. Is it mine? I think it's AS connection.
Universities, and to put it short, we found out that many staff members had contacts to business and NGOs, but they were not really utilized in education planning or implementation process. So the starting point is not that difficult. Ulla, the slide doesn't change, or have you not changed?
We lost you. I have not changed it. We lost you for a second, so I don't know.
Okay.
But
Okay.
now I can change the slide. So
yeah, okay. So there has to be a living relationship. And then I repeat, if you lost me, it's unstable contact was that we have done surveys among our partners about the business contacts, industry contacts. They show that the contacts exist, but they are not utilized in planning and implementing teaching. So the starting point is not too bad. You may change the next one. Is that but always the industry, if you start collaboration with anyone, you have to trust. It has to be win-win. The industry has to understand. And of course, among us, it was also that industry didn't always see the point. Why should they be our partners? But like Ulla says, then when they realize that we can really produce good things, actually the situation is now that there is almost a queuing list to start working with our students on solving problems. So everything cannot be accepted what is offered in general terms. So at the beginning it will be tough. I can't lie on this. The beginning will be tough, but along the time it can be reached. And I think the next slide tells about this trust and respect. So there has to be a shared vision among the industry. So that goes again back to the management. So who talks on higher level with the Chamber of Commerce and big companies and smaller companies? There have to be platforms where you talk the big high level talks, and then at the same time the teaching staff can start case by case building the issue. So both are needed to make this work. But before the partners trust and respect each other's for win-win, it will never work. But as said, our understanding is that at least those universities who were in our research, the situation was better. Actually, in one of the sessions, one of the teachers said, "Oh, we are really indeed, we are making visits to this group that was mentioned, but it has never occurred that we could start solving their problems. We go there hearing their problems." But then it was a big bulb getting light during that session for her that, hey, we can reformulate the existing cooperation. So please just go ahead. And the next slide, I want to reach to the management. Yeah. So both I mentioned the planning and implementation. So also in the curricula planning, like Ulla says, using alumni, using business partners, using any partners in the society, understanding that what is expected from the graduates. How would we as a teachers know what the real world of the work wants? We have to consult people to know that, and then try to see a few steps ahead to produce the ones that they want in 4 years or in 5 years. So it's a collaborative process. We can never trust on ourselves knowing this graduate profile, as we call it, without very heavy consultations with our partners. Of course, it's partly research-based, but it's very much consultation-based. Next, yes, and now the question would be, Ulla, what is the question now for our partners?
Yes, well, we have actually probably heard this already from you, but these are the examples we are doing right now with the partners from African universities. We have this cocoa project and this aluminium project. We have started now based on these projects we have in cooperation with the universities, that we have students, well, some of these we have students from Finland and from Zambia and from Kenya, for example, and then we have a different kind of teams. And now we are having these 2 projects already going on. And we just wanted to know if some of you have tried, but I think we discussed already, but it is just to give them a problem, like some kind of a problem, and then say that start working this out. So we have tried this both. It's for the recycling of actually a waste management. We have a company who needs information of waste management in Africa, and then the other company is this Finnish chocolate company who wants to have production in Ghana. So they need very specific information from Ghana. So we have a lot of teams now. Yeah.
Ulla-Maija, sorry, I entered that popped in a question to the chat box that what does the company get? How to create the win-win? So now you replied. There is one company who wants to make business in Kenya and Zambia, sell his waste management systems. So he needs data to start preparing a strategy for his business activities. One company wants to establish a chocolate factory to Ghana, and they need understanding. We do the running together, the basic facts that what they need to know. When you establish a company to a foreign continent, you need a lot of data. So our students are running that data. So instead of hiring an expensive consultant, they are using our students who really enjoy working with this chocolate company. We have already produced maybe 150 ECTS credits at least with the students, and the company is extremely happy with the students' work. So it benefits, believe it.
Yeah, it's also about of course, the company when it understands that these are students. But if I have one problem, I have only my mind to solve the problem. But if I know I have 200 of your students thinking the solutions, I get totally new approach. And they have also different brain than I do because they are younger people. They have a totally different mindset. And I am always hoping that they are thinking something which is completely impossible, for example, because that could maybe give me an idea as a company owner. So I get a new approach, and they usually hope to get many different solutions so they can, get their. It's never the way that, yes, just build me something and I will go on with my company. It's not that. The students are there to offer different kind of thinking, different kind of solutions. The company always must understand these are students. So it's about to give ideas and give new thinking, and yes, they can really value it, the company. Yeah, I think we have to go on.
The question now is that we already heard from Dr. Hilda. She has tried. We know that many of you have never done BBL, but we would encourage you to try. In the limits, if the management does not support you yet, do what you can. But be sure. I tell one more example that was rather dramatic. Was that one colleague who is now retiring? She told she's in processing engineering, food technology. She had ended up having a bit kind of company challenge that was a bit maybe old at the time when it was done, because the company had already done decisions what kind of equipment they will buy, how they set up their plant. But it was still given for the students that designed this, whatever processing plant it was. The students did what was asked, and the shock was quite huge in the company, because one of the proposals, what they had, they realized that they had done a dramatic miscalculation in their systems. So they had to go back to their own calculations and redo it. As a reward, they organized this team to have some award in Finland, that the best company challenge ever for the engineering, whatever organization it was. But they saved so much money that they realized the mistake. So this is on the dramatic end. The more is on kind of not more normal, but they won't come to you if they don't get. They don't come to you again if they don't get. But normally they come, and as I said, our design factory is now in a situation that they cannot accept. There is a queuing list, so believe it is there. So Ulla-Maija, next, please. So HUMC has this kind of amazing business trains and C school. For example, the students of business, their first assignment is we have a national ice hockey league in Hämeenlinna. So the first assignment, popped into my colleague who said that, okay, we are having the students first time in. This was in early September. So I asked, what is the challenge of this year? Oh, we are doing a marketing plan for our ice hockey team. So they are really kind of, they call it C school. and that is to really make the freshman interested in making business, that you really make business from the day one. And we have this design factory concept among ourselves. So these are millions and millions possibilities how you formulate that, how you organize the cooperation with the companies. So we could have a full session on that, but we now rush into the next slide because these are teasers for you. And now, Ulla-Maija, can you summarize this?
Yeah, it's just I think we have mentioned most of these already. But I mentioned one thing, that it doesn't mean that everyone must have hundreds of contacts, because we are different. Again, we're different people, and some of us or some of your colleagues might already have some contacts to the companies. So use that. You don't have to everyone have them, and then you will start having them like more and more, and have this discussion, and also from where does your new teachers, if you have new teachers, where do they come from? Do they come from the business? That could be one way to have these contacts, and then you could have these different kind of management for to have these relationships. But I think we go further.
Yeah. So it's a holistic process, but now we go to the management, which in a way summarizes everything. And let's see how we have structured it. What shall we give? So the management simply enables the paradigm shift. I believe you can only go to some extent without your management supporting it. So let's see how the management, what are the tools? So go first to the one that is one is the curricula. The curriculas we have already mentioned, and you know there are in chat box many comments regarding the curricula, but the curricula is the starting point, and curriculas are prepared following the management guidance. So the PBL, that I know that many universities are doing now, revising curricula. So that is the simplest and easiest way. Curricula simply defines what, when, how, who. All this is in curricula. If the curricula is problem-based, or there is not problem-based learning curricula, there is a competence-based curricula which is implemented with a problem-based through problem-based methodology. But the very simplest starting point is the curricula, the management guidance, following the legal framework that what kind of curricula there is to be. And now you can go to this, Ulla-Maija, the next one that is mixed, please.
Yeah, but this is what we also already mentioned, that you can choose which one you will have, because I know that many feel that we don't, and I know that based on research, if you read BBL research, quite many has chosen this hybrid model where you can have a different kind of approach. It's not total BBL. It can be, that is also, of course, but I know based on the research that quite many now have this hybrid model where they have different kind of methods, and not all is taught through BBL. Also, the teachers could have different kind of roles. For example, someone can be there having more traditional approach, having more lectures, and some of us feel really comfortable with the students and guiding them through the project. Then, of course, use the strengths of your teachers or your colleagues. That's a smart move to do. So that's just showing.
And management, the one is pushing up the teams for teaching. So it goes very strictly again back that they have to do deliberate choices to support, have industry background, have business background, some having academic qualifications, more emphasis on those. Everyone is needed, but the management does the decisions that who is there to do the work. Put it very, very blank and simple, and it dictates that what kind of competencies we have.
I think I lost AI's again. I think we lost AI's internet connection. So we discussed these issues already, that what to do, when to start. So this should be for the management that they should understand this anxiety and how to support both the students and the teachers. It really requires the management to understand these mixed feelings. And everyone must be involved, and everyone needs to be explained why we are doing this. It was both the teachers and the students. Also, tutors will need training. No one expects you to, or shouldn't expect you just to go there and be expert. I mean, like, you learn a lot when you just do it, but first you really need some kind of training to do. And yeah, why are you having the BBL? That must be clear to everyone. So if it's that we need to teach the competencies, then tell that to the teachers and the students, and also to orientate the students. Do you, Eija, want to tell? I see you are back. We cannot hear you. I don't know if you're muted.
Yeah, because I dropped off and
Yeah,
it muted me automatically. Yeah. Yes, this is something that it goes to the staff management, or how do you call it, personnel management, that if everything is based that people are obedient or they are hardworking and they are still competent, but this is still business as usual. It still is business as usual. But the management is to put up the systems in a way that the innovativeness, creativeness, and the passion to work, these are needed. Not only from the staff, but from the management as well. But the way the management treats people, it's one of ways of creating this reaching the goals atmosphere in the university. So it's something that we love this picture when we kind of in a way found it, is that in African context you can openly talk about passion to work. We come from a country which is full of ice, and we have to be very neutral, not showing the feelings, and it felt so refreshing to see this. But the passion has to be there, otherwise it doesn't happen. Next, please. It's also the university strategies. It's not only curricula, but it goes beyond that, because universities are the ones, in a way, they're the knowledge providers of the society. They have a huge role in society producing. There wouldn't be any Microsoft or Google or without the research done in the university or medical, whatever solutions we have. It's the universities producing this. It's the research producing this. It's the universities producing people being able to produce them. So the university strategies have to support holistically the whole system. We have this Milky Way. We call it really Milky Way, which is, people feel that it's too far away from the reality of people like us being part of staff. But it's hope to aspire, inspire, and to tell that we are going further. Still not business as usual, but we have a goal that we need everyone to achieve it. And this is regularly monitored. So because it's done for 10 years, it can't be exact. So it's a continuous process, but this is the management collecting data, sharing it with us, trying to encourage, trying to find ways that we really are on the track, giving feedback in good and in bad, so that the whole system moves towards, like Ulla-Maja says, if we are not together, if we don't know where the end station of this train is, we will get lost to Pamba or to Savannah or wherever, everyone scattered and being unhappy. But we have to agree where we are going. This is a lengthy process. It takes huge time to prepare the goals, and this it's time consuming to keep updated and following this. But this is what the management does, and we have to everyone be part of that process. Next, please. It's quality management. It's also that I already mentioned this data collection, that data has to be collected and monitored. It's not only talk. We have our internal systems, and now we are heading towards an international review. You have different systems in your countries that are official, you pass them, but it's not only this, it's all this kind of participatory action research approach that all the time on all levels. Take an example of these course feedbacks. They're collected out after every course, and the teacher and the boss, the director of the teacher sees the results, and they are discussed what can be done differently. So it's on the level of the whole organization, and then it's on the level of the individual teachers, and this what happens on the individual teachers, it keeps on pulling up, so comparisons can be done, benchmarked from each other's, help those who are having more problems. So it's a very multifaceted. This is something that as a lecturing or staff members, we feel to be a bit distant, that it feels something far away. But actually, quality management is one of the keys to the success, no matter how boring it sounds at times. It's also giving surveys of these company contacts. So it goes to all details. So legislative framework, university blueprint, and then the leadership. That is our summary, that is where the management activates. As a teacher, we don't go to the minister to discuss if this should be changed. It's the management who has the talks. A blueprint for the university, it's done by the process is led by the management. Everyone hopefully participates. And then how they lead us, how they give us space, how they support us in doing our work. So this is an African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So everything in problem-based learning, go together. It takes time, but go together. We have this kind of little things, give time, yes, and next is celebrate. This is one of the issues on many levels. Ulla-Maija, when she finishes a course, they always have a little treat for the people in there, together with the company challenge owners. You celebrate. There are people who didn't do so well. There are people who perform better than you ever expected. There are those who are always as good or as lousy. But stop, celebrate, recognize the work done by you, celebrate the work done by the others. Celebrate. It's that life without fun makes a dull man. It's also an African proverb. So respect this. And then now is PBL worth? Did we convince those 6 that they're to say? Do we have time? Do we have time? Well, I have no clue.
I think we have passed the 5 already, so I think.
Oh, have we passed?
Yes,
we still have more than 50. We have to stop. I'm sorry.
We have to stop for the celebrations. Yeah, there's actually a very good comment in chat, and Ku and I think we could discuss a week of these because there's very good comments. But I think we have really reached 5 o'clock. So
yeah, we have to now stop and let you go. Thank you for being so patient. Yes, someone says convinced. We got 1 follower. Thank you for that. That's a nice feedback. Yeah. But if there's something, if someone wants to open the microphone and say anything, please do it now. But already that feedback was nice, but we are ready to take also other feedback if you want to give. Sorry, we had back too much, talk too much. There was too little time for you, but at least if we convinced someone, yes, our contacts will be shared by, and Anthony has actually our contacts. So the ones who want to talk with us, contact any of the forum staff, you will get our contacts. Yeah, someone is saying, thank you. This sounds very promising. Yeah, interesting, good. We wish you all kind of strength and enthusiasm, passion to keep on going, because the ones who have stayed until now tells about your interest on this. Together, yes. Yeah, and we have been really, someone is saying that we are sharing challenges as well, because it's easy to go on this talk that it's only good and beautiful. There are those rosy days, but there are those gray days, many of them in between. Good. Is there anyone from Ruforum still awake who wants to close the session? Or did we exhaust the Ruforum staff? David or Francis or Anthony? Otherwise we close by ourselves. We have Francis, yes. We are quite bad.
Yeah, thank you so much. You know, as you know, at Ruforum we have a lot of activities going on. I was just checking if Florence is still there, and just 1 second.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Our trainers who have been very active. It's unfortunate that we were not able to set up the breakout rooms. This is because of the technicalities when the meeting was set as a webinar. But of course, next time we'll do better. This has been a very interactive training because all of us do appreciate the fact that problem-based learning is important, because it's learning-centered approach of training is important. We are happy that we are joined by more than 100 people. Of course, at the same time, you could see about 70, 80, but this has reached out to so many. And the session has been recorded. That means we will make it available to those who were not here. And yeah, we have a wide reach, but I am very happy that this training has been a very insightful one, and that the trainees or the attendees did benefit. At Ruforum, we support collaboration with the people like you, and we are very grateful for this. I don't have much to say, but to appreciate you and to say thank you to you, and thank you to all the participants. So with this, I say the meeting is closed. Thank you.
Thank you. Kwaheri.
Thank you.